Yeah, we've come a long way. I'm joking, but like I've had a couple of like gears that I want to talk about, and I have used this thing. The Sandsnap is a really difficult thing to get like accurate, cause I've tried it on my Fender amp. My orange kinda works, but you have to use like a Marshall type, a type of instrument, and that's sort of difficult to get working properly. And oh yeah, sorry, but it's like you have to have a lot of. That's a little bit too close. But you have to have like you have to have a power amp, um, fucking rack mount, preamp guitar, and cabinets and all this stuff, and that's like nobody has that anymore. And I understand you have like preamp pedals, which are cab simulators. I've been looking into that, but like I don't know if it's worth like $300 for like a Nirvana ish pedal. But it is like a Mesa big copy. But my main thing is like, how will that be in like 10 years time when like technology has a little bit advanced? Will it be like dirt cheap, like used $150? Yeah, that's the kind of issue. And also they only sell it like in the US. Like I told the guy this like who sells those Nirvana pedals, they cost $100 sharp just to get them sent from the US peninsula, like the American peninsula, up to here, and that's kind of pricey, honestly. But yeah, I like guitar strings. On like P90 and single coil guitars, I prefer to use like a like maybe I should just zoom the camera. I can't manually zoom it, so I just have to drag the screen a little bit closer. Yeah, so no, that's a little bit too much personal. Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, like with guitars and strings, I use 9 gauge slinkies, and I use tens sometimes for single coils and P90s. Sometimes on humbuckers, but I preferably use like slinky 1052s on humbuckers because that's just way more kick. Sometimes I use the 1052s on P90s. On acoustics, I would prefer to not use 13 gauge or anything like that because I hate 13 gauges. I hate 11. Anything up to 11 is really difficult in my opinion. It's not worth the sort of wrist pains or potential hand pains that you'll get if you just perform with very, very uncomfortable um, gear. Like it's not worth it, you don't get overcompensate. Like maybe if you were like touring the world, like I wouldn't care, but like it would be just difficult. I like to play every single day, like for hours on end. So I usually go for like even on acoustics I go for 10 gauge or 11 gauge like the earth wounds. That's like max, but I usually go for 10 gauge. Those are just easier on the hands. I also use just like I sometimes just order strings off AliExpress. I don't care really about the brand or anything like that because nobody really cares unless there's actually like I generally get paid enough as a musician. I just don't care. So I will just buy like sometimes 12 strings with 12 strings guitars. The G strings always break even on like the expensive string sets. I think I would just have to send it to some like guitar tech to like manually set the strings so it just the strings doesn't break because with acoustics you have to like pull the strings, you have to wrap it like in grease and everything for it to be sounding warm, and like with 12 strings, you just never use them unless you have like that one song in that one album that you're going to have in your quarter life crisis or midlife crisis, and that's it. You just give up on 12 strings. Like that's like one, like how I would define like a guitar like that. I would define it like a sort of a phase or like a era in your life. Like you have that sort of long haired era with the mustache or whatever, and then you like pick up a 12 string because that's like cool alternative thing. But if you have like a really good 12 string that's like fairly expensive, I would say that they are really good, and you should probably go get into one. Like resonators, I just don't like, but I have like a Dobro, and it's those. I think it's the Dario, the blue ones. Those are also sometimes I prefer using those ones, but usually it's just earth wound strings, and I just use the same thing, and it's like yeah. Because the audience like doesn't really care. It doesn't really matter at this point. Um, because like with the Slinky 10 for 52 sets, I have been using them, and they haven't been like the E string has never broken off. They just don't break. When you send it to a guitar tech, you change a pickup and you tell them to like change it to 1052s. I just say that, and he like those never break when your guitar tech sets them up, and those type of strings, and the 9 gauges too. 9 gauges tend to break if you set them up yourself, but if you get a proper tech to do it or a guitar store with an actual employee that is like skilled, those just no doesn't break. Those will last until you physically like sell them 2 years later, and they break because they've been sitting so much. But when guitar strings, the way I check my guitar strings if they're really bad is that I just I pick up a guitar pick, mostly my 60 millimeters, and I scrape the low E string to check if the fin thing is getting scrapey, like it's really just feeling weird. And just and if it feels like very scratchy and very like rusty, I guess, or just like used, then it's time to change them. But if they're like physically black, or you're getting a new guitar that some guy is selling it because he had a dream 5 years ago, get those just instantly serviced. Change pickups, change the pots, and change the strings. It's getting kind of weird. Why do I look so tired, and why do I always I don't know. I've slept really well now, but I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any drugs whatsoever. Unironically, I'm not one of those guys that do it and like, well, your physical appearance actually determines how much you drugs you. I haven't done any drugs. I drank once when I was 18, and that's it. I've been just standing clean and sober, and I live in like one of the biggest like not like I live in like a very Germanic country which has like a very big like drinking culture. Like if you don't drink socially, you'll like get ghosted by everybody. Everybody will hate you. You won't have a social life. It is very rude if you don't drink, unironically, because you like it's extremely toxic with that sort of stuff. Because like even like the socially well off people will drink, and I just don't do it because I'm neurodivergent. I just don't choose to do so, and I don't also want to drink for having like a depression or drink for having no social life. Because if I drink for having no social life, or just drink because I am like it's another thing about drinking for celebrating, and it's another thing drinking while being lonely or having just like being alone and playing guitar all day. You'll start to lose yourself. I'll start to sell my guitars. I just have a feeling because like I feel like I won't have control. So that's kind of it. Also the hangovers. I just don't want to waste a day with hangovers with that in mind. But guitar picks, I use this. this one is like what Kurt used, and I tried to check them out myself because you can get these like maybe for like 9 cents a piece, like 90 cents a piece, and I bought like a package of them, and I haven't regretted it since I lose them easily, but they were just very soft, flexible, perfect for acoustics and even like just power chords and open chords. Um, I tend yeah, I tend to lose my picks. I think I have like I bought. There's just a lot of things. Let me check. I have like a clip-on tuner, but I always lose my clip-on tuners because some like I when I ever I'm just doing something and just lose them. This is my sort of mic you see. Sometimes it's the Welland microphone that I use in my videos. It's Steve Welland DMV 908. It's like a super rare German microphone for like the 90s. It's tech. It has like the common European trade logo. It got ripped off because I just used it so many times, and it's taped because you can't find parts for it. So I just taped the filter on. So yeah, I should probably find a way to fix it or send it to some guy because those are really good. But he'll just you just buy a Shure microphone. Just don't bother with rare microphones or whatever boutique. Yeah, these are rare as hell, and I don't want to sell it. And it's actually really fair. But I like you can see like the instantly it just gets lost media. It's like shit that has been reproduced since like the 90s. They just disappear. Nobody's using them. I have been using this a little bit. This is the Zoom GFX1, but I just don't use them in my videos. I got it from my music therapy class, which I just play every Wednesday, and it's a cool little piece of tech. It's a little bit weird. It's kind of like when if you understand like early 2000s pedals, you instantly get why you just don't use them because the technology is advancing so much. Is that yeah? It's just advancing very much, and I don't come from Gjøvik. Only I don't even know. I only know my ex from Gjøvik, and that's was like a situationship from 3 years ago. I haven't gotten over that yet, but yeah, I have never been there actually. But as I think his batteries too on it. Holy shit! There's corrosion. Those are not my batteries, but god damn, I think you get these weird, that's how you tell that the pedal isn't being loved enough because it's fucking corroding. You're seeing these batteries, these are not being used anymore, they're being probably used by some guy that has a dream and, a little bit of a budget, but you don't see these commonly being used anymore. But I've used it a little bit on some of my shorts, but not as much because I haven't really gotten over the controls. But I would probably use it if I was stuck in an island or something. But I'm going to return it. So that was like a rare pedal. I also used the Kai head rush, and I also used this one. I was talking about the guitar pick. I have yeah, it's the Jazz Free with the max grip. I only use like Jazz Frees when I'm playing like solos, but like it's the ultimate boomer pick. If you're just not using a Jazz Free, you're not cool enough. You'll never have a social life. You'll never have friends if you just don't use a Jazz Free pick. Les Paul, stubby, the Dario strings, Marshall cab power rack. Yeah, it's like Sure. This is a big stubby 3 millimeter. My pal Mike used this from that sort of high school I was at, community high school I think it's called. But I was there, and he had one of those. I just bought it because it looked cool. It's much more purple because of the color. The camera can't capture the color, so it's blue, but it's actually purple. So it's you can't even see it because the camera can't pick up the. It can kinda, but it can't pick up the purple because it's such a weird. It's like one of those webcams from COVID. Yeah, I've used those 3 millimeters, and I also have like a light one, but I can't find. But I also ordered like a set from Temu with the exact same, and they never break. So like I casually just use stuff like that. Like I don't have like any brand loyalty. It's stupid. Like all the pedals are the same. Just get one effect. But if it's like a very rare effect, sure, just go for it. But if it's just distortion you're looking for or a fuzz, just buy like a JHS, or like a Boss Fuss or something like that. Just buy something like that, or buy, even the Temu ones are good. I'm not even joking. Like they are stage level good sometimes, and even the Flamma are good. Even like MXR, like just don't have too many of the same effects because they won't make a difference. I've seen people done that, and that's super now. So like the Ernie Ball mediums, that was my first pick I bought because they're cheap as dirt. They're a little bit more harder. They don't work that much, but yeah. I also have like this one is this SEV2 microphone, and I've been using that for almost all my videos now because it's time to go a little bit more modern. I don't care about the vintage feel of a microphone or whatever the hell, unless I'm actually professional recording. I would probably use it for like a sign of respect or whatever in one overdub. But with this thing, it's a little bit like, yeah, it's kind of like that. It's a little bit microphonic, but I don't care. It's just fine. I like it. It does the job that it's supposed to do. This one is cool too. It's an instrument mic, so I wouldn't use it for vocals unless you don't have any other mic. But yeah, I've soldered a little bit, but I had like one soldering because it was just cheaper to solder your own stuff, and I soldered a pick guard. I soldered my own pick guard, my own hot rail, and I screwed this on, and I also changed the body on this thing. I'm selling it, but unless someone picks it up locally, I don't care. I won't send it abroad. The only thing I can complain about is the neck is not really fitting, because there's a little bit of string relief. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it. Only thing I would complain about is kind of the neck, but it's not unplayable. It's not bad either. But that's kind of it. I don't know. It's not junk or anything, but it's. I don't know. I'm thinking about selling my guitars and just moving on. But I'm also deaf, so I can't even move on because I'm already like I'm beyond that stage of like safely giving up a hobby because you already got you already lost a chunker if like you became partially disabled because of it. That's fun, right? But here's one of my monsters. I'm just showing off stuff. I also use 3M Pelters. I think Pelter. They cost $50. They had one from my work I just took with me when I was done. I just showed up with it every day, and I bought these eventually, and they are just they do a really good job at canceling noise. And if I ever want to listen to my own monitor while playing with my IEMs or whatever, I just put these on for good measure so I can actually hear what the microphone picks up, so I know what I actually sound. So you shouldn't be ashamed of just wearing headphones. It's playing safe. It's enjoying a hobby and not becoming. It's like welding with having a mask that is a little bit expensive, but some people will weld without any equipment. That's stupid. You should weld with protection, because with like an actual gas mask or whatever, because the shit you breathe in, like it, kind of like this, but with high noises and stuff. Herring is a little bit of a different league, because that will lead to depression if you don't take care of it. Um, it was like Candyland when I had my herring. Now it's kind of different, but it's manageable. So they say. But these are good, and I like to play them. Not all the time, but whenever I'm cranking up my amp, I don't know how loud things are anymore, so I can't just feel like if they're safe. So I'll put sometimes plugs, and sometimes I'll just put these on. And it's like, oh wow, you're not committed to music enough. You're not. I'm not. Okay, whine and bitch and whine about it. I don't care. Unless I'm actually getting paid, I'll show up on stage with some actual good IEMs that I can hear what I'm playing without becoming deaf from playing too much. Because I just went to a concert yesterday and it was loud as hell. For like an EP with like less than 100 listeners, it shouldn't be that loud. It shouldn't be deafening. But it's fine. I completely get the point. It's standard to have it loud because you're paying for it. I took some pictures. I took some videos. That was really cool. I saw one of my favorite artists from my country that I really have a lot of respect for. And I love the music. I love the live vibe. I thought it was cool. He used an Audi X OM7, which is a microphone that I kind of crave. So yeah, I'm really interested in it. So I had a deal of a guy, for the mic, but I stepped out because I'm saving up for a Jag Stang. I'm selling some of my guitars for a Fender Jag Stang, because if it doesn't say Fender on the headstock, nobody will respect you. Or if it's some local, like, built to a T hipster millennial sort of guitar build that is overpriced, but local, I totally get the point, but I don't want to waste my money on that. I would just buy Fender and mod the pickups. Um, if it, they usually have good pots, but I would just mod a Seymour Duncan to it. These I don't use the Boss distortion that much. I have like a problem with making it sound good, because it just doesn't feel loud. It just feels like a tin can. But like in my memory, this was louder. This felt more better before, and I changed the batteries. I put it on power, but it just doesn't sound good with that amp. I think the Fender. I think I have to have the orange one because it doesn't do a good service to it. But it's kind of weird because I've tried EQing this thing. I've tried compression. Compression actually works, but it gets like very hissy if I don't play constantly. I love my Mustang. My Squire Mustang is my favorite guitar now. Yeah, I also forgot to mention I have a Focusrite. This is just a video for Quipboard, really, for documenting, because I just want to confirm that I use some of these gears without seeming disingenuous and lying about it. Yeah, but I have a floor course that was just my brother, who is amazing drummer. He makes a lot of good drummer. He's a really good drummer, I think. So I don't I'm not like a expert on drumming, but he is pretty good from where it comes to. But I have my floor chorus. This is a clone of the Polychorus and Echoflanger by Electroharmonics, but this is made by in Italy. The shipping cost 110 euros, I think, or bucks. It was so expensive. FedEx, never order from FedEx. They cost like 110 bucks for just getting this from Italy because I thought I was buying locally. No, super expensive, very expensive shipping. Um, very expensive. Like they get the pedal does what it's supposed to do, but it was originally very overpriced, but they lowered the price, so it's kind of fair. But it shouldn't be as expensive as the past effects one for the money. Past effects I think would win. I just bought this because I thought I was being smart by buying locally, but I ended up buying I think it was twice as much, almost. I should have just bought the original one from Japan and stuff, but it was the voltage I was more interested because this is the 9 volt. The rest are 18 volts, and you have to plug a different power socket, and and that's kind of where it boiled down to. This is a blend feature. This has a slapback, a chorus, a flange, and a filter matrix. Sounds pretty much just completely one to one. It's like 98% accurate, I would say. I've saw like demos of it. It does what it's told. For like outside Nirvana, I got it working in like a shoegaze type environment and a kind of a post punk, but it's very difficult to get this thing. How to make this thing sound anything else than Nirvana. It's kind of like tailored to in utero style music. So it's very different from what I. It's a lot to take in, but it's good. I like it. It does what it's told. I finally play. I haven't made like any big videos covering like to a T because like I just don't know how to get it sound like any like I don't know how to edit videos properly. And I haven't hired an editor yet, but in Euro Tour, Kurt used this one, and this one was holy crap. This was costing so much money. It was so expensive. But it wasn't that expensive. It was actually cheaper than this one in total. And this is my favorite guitar now. I almost want to get rid of my Hamer, even though it's my first guitar. Like because it has a skulls finish. It feels very like profane, kind of. It doesn't feel very consumer friendly. I guess with the skulls and stuff, it's very edgy, in a very vintage style. I just don't like it. It kind of felt cool, but it's like those comparison pictures, like me with my first guitar and then and now, sort of. So it's very you get a very weird chest feeling getting rid of your first guitar. I would sand it down like the finish and get like a sort of a John Lennon-esque vibe to it. People hate the sound of it because they don't like the pickups, even though it's like a hammer. It for me, I don't like that it has 500k pots and a JB. People say it's way too loud, it's way too sharp, and it's not coherent melodically. So people just don't like it. It's like a solo instrument, but for open chords and cleans, it's just extremely bitey. It's too much bite and gain. It sucks, you know. I really wish it was sounding better. That's why I just don't use it in many videos, and people just don't want it. And this is, in fact, used by Duster too. Like every professional musician uses this weird Squire guitar, and it's actually just a normal Fender Mustang with out the tone knobs in the top. Simple switch. You can't put it in or out of phase, but it's basically like a little bit of a a different guitar, but it's almost the exact same. It's light. It's good for your back if you're playing, because I am scared of my back, and it's perfect intonated, and it has just really good, and tuning. It stays in tune. Has 500k pots and a Seymour Duncan 59 Trembucker or a hybrid. The guy, I think, lied a little bit that it was like a custom 59 custom, because it's I think it's a Trembucker. I think he didn't have the exact guitar and humbucker, but it sounds almost, for me, it's just it's fine. I like it, and it sounds very good. It's the neck isn't super bassy. Well, the neck is very basic, but the bridge isn't super bassy, so it just doesn't like go extreme. It's very thin. Distortion sounds very clean and coherent, and I love it. And that's pretty much it. That's my guitar. I got new tuners for my Gecko too, and yeah, it's kind of weird because like I feel like I am in that sort of age where I have to get real guitars. I have to buy Epiphones. I have to buy Gibsons. I have to buy Fenders. But I just don't have a social life, so I don't know if I am prepared to just buy. Because like I haven't been taking nobody takes really pictures of me when playing guitar. Nobody really does it. Like people just tell me to because I'm not really photogenic, but like you get a real weird feeling when nobody's really taking pictures of you or recording you or doing, like, they don't really like you for the hobby that you're doing. So it's kind of weird. Pick selector here is getting, it's flaking off actually, but yeah, it's just weird because you're supposed, because like nobody like maybe it's the Fender, but sometimes like it's not about the guitar, bro. It's not about the guitar, or if it's the guitar, you just get very. I don't know anymore. I'm right now. I'm thinking about lowering them on, but it's raining right now. It's like about to rain. The weather's just very unpredictable, but it's a lot of rain coming, and yeah. The Gecko guitar that I have is good, but I think about, because with guitars, the thing about acoustic guitars is that you can't really change the sound of a tone wood. You can't change it because with acoustic you could probably get like it electric and nobody would care, but like people have such a bad disdain for bad acoustic guitars. Like it has to be a really expensive, or like a Epiphone, Texan or something. That's like like with acoustics, it literally has to be like genuinely good quality, or else people won't even look at you. It's like, I don't care what people think. I'm punk, I know, but it literally, it is, it's almost, if you want to be taken seriously, you can't be using a cheap guitar almost. And but I haven't even made my first album. I haven't even made my own official song because it costs so much money to do it. The funding is insane for the I won't even get like 10 views.